Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Everybody Loves a Sandwich, episode 1. I'm Dan. This is Scott. This is Max. And tonight we've got bourbon, we've got some wings, and we have absolutely no idea where we're going with this conversation.
Isn't it 1 o'clock or so?
I know, but this is going to air it in the evening, and there's going to be a national audience.
You're so right.
All right, so this inaugural episode is all about meeting the hosts and having some laughs. The idea of this is that this is something that entertains. Whether the three of us are up to that challenge is anyone's guess. But let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And so, starting off, let's start with you, Scott.
Yeah.
So, you are originally from upstate New York.
Yep.
Specifically, the Rochester area.
The Rochester area.
Okay. Yeah. Tell us what it was like growing up in the Rochester area. When was that? Like, set the stage for us.
All right. So, grew up in the 70s and 80s in Western New York, Rochester.
Earliest memory is like it is 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
70s.
Okay.
So bell bottoms and plaid.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. And Tough Skins. People can remember Tough Skins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was one of three, mom and dad, and grew up in a small town called Victor, New York.
You're in the middle, right?
I am the youngest.
Oh, you're the youngest.
Yes, 2 years separates each of us.
Tom is
The middle.
middle.
Yep. So he's
Okay.
2 years older, and then my sister Christine is 4 years older than me.
Ah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So grew up in Victor, New York, which was about a town of 7,000.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
What
yeah,
would you
pretty
relate
small.
Victor to here in Colorado, like size-wise?
Ooh.
Like Fort Collins?
No. Much smaller. More like,
Durango is probably.
yeah, Durango.
Even Durango's 40,000.
Maybe
Is it?
Yeah,
like Morrison.
maybe.
Okay.
Although even Morrison's in the Denver area, and
Right.
so it's your
So I'm in
town.
the Rochester area.
Okay.
So Rochester was, I think, including city and suburbs at its height. So think of Kodak in its heyday. Okay, everyone
Yeah.
remembers Eastman Kodak, Kodak camera, and Xerox. Copiers. Everyone remembers what copiers are, and Xerox. Today, probably best known for either Wegmans, grocery store chain, family run, or Paychex.
And you worked
The
for
payroll company.
Wegmans at one point, didn't you?
I did.
Out
I
of
did.
college?
Out of college, correct.
Yeah.
Out of my master's program, yeah.
Because your degree is in.
MBA, so Master's in Business Administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your undergrad marketing?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, grew up in the 70s and 80s. Kodak was sort of at its peak, I think, at that time, and employed at its peak, which was, 1980, 1985 time frame, probably 85,000 people worldwide employed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Largest employer. My mom, my grandfather, my mom's dad worked for Kodak for years, retired from Kodak. My dad worked for a company out at the Xerox plant, which is the second largest employer to Kodak. And my dad was actually, so I'm one of three, but my dad was one of 12 children.
What? Holy cow.
Yeah. He was number 3, the third oldest in his family.
One of 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then on my mom's side, she had 4 sisters. And so, yeah.
Catholic family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
if
my-
you have a lot of kids, you're Catholic or you're Mormon?
So Protestant on my dad's side.
Okay.
And then my mom's side was Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have lots of cousins.
Okay.
Lots of aunt and uncles.
Would you say you know all of them? Do you?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know who they are, but do you have a good acquaintance? Are you familiar with all of them?
Today.
Having so many.
Today.
Yeah, and their kids and their families.
So, having moved, obviously, from Western New York to Denver.
And that was in 99?
2001.
2001. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, in 2001, just after 9/11, the week of
Wow.
9/11, we moved, my wife and I. My wife, she was my girlfriend then, wife today, moved from Rochester to Denver. And Max, to kind of address your point. So I can't say I know all of them well today, because
But back then,
yeah. So growing up, we're the next house down from my dad's parents. So basically, same piece of property.
your grandparents. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And every Sunday they typically had a family meal, and most of their kids and my cousins would go to their house.
How many people?
I
It's a house full, right?
It's a house full. Yeah. I mean,
And lots of kids.
lots of kids
Running all over.
running all
Jumping on beds.
Yes, jumping on their dog, whose name was Victor, and it was great memories. I mean,
Yeah.
great upbringing.
So if you had
Yeah,
that many cousins, you think about the next generation, how many cousins they all had.
Yeah.
but
You don't want to be dating one by mistake.
Right.
funny man. Good call. Yeah,
Could happen.
Could happen.
30 or 40
Right.
running around.
yeah. And so from there they kind of scattered from Victor to the surrounding towns, and then I think with what we have today is probably more mobility, right? Of
Yeah.
living wherever we want, mostly due to job and technology changes. So over time, people have moved away. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Have you guys? When was the last time that you had a legit kind of like family reunion? That you got everybody together.
So on my mom's side, we did that 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
Which
How
is
many?
great.
How many were there?
Hundreds.
No. So that would be my dad's side. Would probably get to that number. My mom's side, there was probably about 30 or 40 of us.
And that
It
was
cool.
that in the Rochester area?
Yeah.
Did you do the t-shirts?
Did I do the t-shirts? We didn't, but we did in years past. So it's funny
Yeah.
you actually bring that up, Max. Yeah.
I love it when big
Yes.
families do the reunions and they do the
Yeah.
shirts.
Yes.
And it's almost two-sided
Yeah.
in a sense.
We
So
totally had done that.
What is Rochester like? Like,
I
I mean, having grown up here in Denver and being here my whole life, I mean,
Yeah.
like, this is all I know is this kind of like, dry climate, mountains on the west side of town. I mean, this is what I know.
Yeah.
But what is like? We don't have big bodies of water. We've got Chatfield Reservoir,
Yeah.
Cherry Creek Reservoir.
Yeah.
You can go a little further and go down to Pueblo or whatever. But are there a lot of lakes?
Yeah.
Is there like what
Yeah,
is it
so-
like what's the best time of the year to be in Rochester?
I think Memorial Day to Labor Day is the best time because of the lakes.
Okay, so summertime.
Yeah. So we have the Finger Lakes in that area.
Ah.
And so that was fantastic. And nothing like hitting a lake in the summer and
Yeah.
swimming. That's where I learned to
Is
swim.
it how hot does it get there in the summer?
It gets in the 90s.
In the 90s,
Yeah.
and then humidity, is it
Humidity's super high.
crazy humid too?
It's humid. Yeah.
So hot
Yep.
enough that you want to be in the water.
The hot enough where you want to be in the water.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great with cousins. We'd all go down to the closest lake, which was Canandaigua Lake growing up. And we'd meet there and have like a picnic on the beach with the cousins.
Yeah.
And
Anybody have a
Everyone
boat, things like that, or
yeah, but there was an amusement park on on the shore of the lake called Roseland Amusement Park. And so they had several different of the rides that would go out over the water, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was a great upbringing in that area, and I'd probably describe the area as, somewhat blue collar. There was a lot of businesses that supported, like Detroit as an example, in the auto industry. And I think it was kind of classic middle America.
I was going to
To
say,
that
I mean,
would be-
blue
would be
collar,
fun.
you get, I feel like just good people.
Yeah.
Hardworking
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Like, I love the motto, work hard, play hard.
yeah,
And I think when I think of blue collar, that's what I think.
Yeah.
These are people that work hard
and
during the week. And then weekends roll around and it's time to let loose and have a little fun, or
Yeah.
you have a family trip, things
Yeah.
like that.
And I would say there was a lot of Italian American festivals growing up. There was a lot of Polish American festivals
Yeah.
growing up in that area. Yeah, it was fantastic. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I had no idea you were a marketing major.
I was. So marketing research specifically. And so kind of a stats background. We ran a lot of statistical analysis in my marketing programs. Yeah. So yeah. Enjoyed it, did it for Wegmans for just over a year. And it was an interesting job, but it wasn't the path that I was kind of set to follow.
Yeah.
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 Super cool. Yep.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, transitioning out a little bit off
Yeah.
of family.
Mhm.
Growing up in Rochester, I happen to know you're a big time Cowboys fan.
I am.
And,
Yeah.
and okay, one more time, a little bit of geography. Tell me about Rochester to Buffalo.
Yep,
How
so-
far are we talking there?
Similar to Denver to Colorado Springs.
Okay, so
60
there's
miles.
a little bit of a
right.
span.
Yeah.
But
almost
pretty much right
identical.
there.
60 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most people in Rochester are Bills fans.
Yeah, predominantly.
Yeah.
And in fact, they do their training camp at one of the universities called St. John Fisher. Buffalo runs the Bills training camp in Rochester every year
Okay.
as a tradition. Yeah.
But you are a Cowboy. you are a Cowboys fan.
I am a
And
Cowboys
how
fan.
big of a Cowboys fan are you actually?
I'm a big Cowboys
He's
fan.
big.
Yeah.
Like you listen.
Yeah.
Don't you listen? Isn't there like a Cowboys radio station or something, or a
No, I mean I
Cowboys podcast?
Yeah, I follow a couple of Cowboys writers and podcasts.
Yeah.
Throughout the season and off season. Yeah, they're definitely my team. No
Yeah.
question
But
about
for our maybe not so football savvy audience,
Mhm.
I mean, there's some significance to this because in the 80s, and I don't remember the years, you certainly do.
Yep.
There were some epic Super Bowl games played between the Cowboys and the Bills
In the 90s.
in the 90s.
Let me correct you. Yeah.
90s.
So in the 90s, when you had like Thurman Thomas and Bruce
Squirmin'
Smith,
Thurman.
Squirmin' Thurman,
Yeah.
Jim Kelly at quarterback. So you're talking like 1990 to probably 96, 97 when the Bills were sort of in their heyday.
Andre Reed,
Andre Reed. Yep.
Bruce Smith,
Yep.
edge rusher.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Steve Tasker for special teams.
Who's the safety?
He had the big helmet.
He did.
Anyway.
Anyway.
But anyway.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So.
And so,
how did that happen?
were you a Cowboys fan from birth, or was it through the
Soon as I came out
these
of my
Super Bowls
mom's
for
womb.
anybody that's a Bills fan did not go well?
As soon as I came out of my mom's womb,
You
Yeah.
were wearing a Cowboys hat.
I was. I was pretty much blue and silver.
They do say that you become a Bills fan because you grow up close to Buffalo, but you become a Cowboys fan because you go to Walmart and they have the T-shirt. So I imagine that's probably how it happened.
No. Let me that story because So I think most people growing up in the 70s and 80s or watching sports or sports fans during that time period knew that the Cowboys had become America's team.
Yeah.
And they were assigned that label.
They had this run. Sorry to interrupt, but the Cowboys had this run that was so long. And I'm thinking back to like Danny White and Tom Landry.
There you go.
This run that was so long, I got so sick of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it was I was going to throw up every time I saw them because they were just constantly on TV.
Yeah.
Everybody loved them.
Yeah.
And like this team. And plus they beat my beloved Broncos in our first Super Bowl in '77.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
continue on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And so for me, it was that label of America's team. I think during that period, you had Roger Staubach as, I think had a title like Captain America because he was the quarterback of the Cowboys.
Tony Dorsett.
Yeah, Tony
Herschel
Dorsett.
Walker.
Yeah. And I think it's some of those players that seem bigger than life to me.
Yeah.
But really what sealed the deal for me was, so in the 80s, so most people do recall the really great team, Bills teams of the 90s. But in the 80s, they weren't actually very good. And they were kind of perennial at the bottom of the barrel in the 80s. And
When was OJ?
70s.
70s, okay.
Yeah.
Juice.
And so, yes, juice. Juice or if the glove don't fit, I must have quit.
Must have quit.
but anyways.
He was electric, though.
He was
I mean,
electric, yes.
Yeah.
So I think, the Bills not being winners in the 80s. And then my dad was a Packers fan. So although he liked the Bills, but his team were the Packers from like the Bart Starr days. And yes, definitely no question. It's still true today as it was true then. Say the area were predominantly Bills fans. Although there were quite a bit of followers or fans of Cleveland, the Browns.
Real? Is that
It's about
close?
4 hours.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Cleveland's about 4 hours from Rochester. And you had the Bernie Kosar days.
Yes.
And Brian Sipe. And
Yeah.
they were winning quite a bit in the AFC. And you had Ernest Biner and Mack.
That's
Kevin Mack, maybe?
Kevin Mack, I think. You're
Yeah.
right. As Broncos fans, we remember very well.
Yeah.
The Drive, the
Yeah.
Drive 2,
Yeah.
and those games were epic.
Yeah.
Epic games.
So there was a fair amount of Browns fans because they were winning, like I said, and the Bills were not. But what sealed the deal for me with the Cowboys was I was in kindergarten and we had a project and I wrote to the Cowboys.
Yeah?
Do you want to imagine
Yeah.
quickly what this letter said without knowing?
Yeah.
Let's rewrite it. Going back to Scott as a middle schooler.
I like it.
Did you write to a player or did you write
To the team, to the
to the front
organization.
office.
Yes, to the
Okay.
front office.
Imagine you're Scott, age 7.
Yeah. It would have probably been somewhere around age 7.
And
yes.
what year is it then?
About 1979, 1980 time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they haven't quite gotten going just yet.
Oh, the Cowboys
Were pretty
The
good.
Cowboys were
Or,
good.
so they won that Super Bowl in 77.
They won it in '77,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure because I'm not the Cowboys guy here at the table.
Well, I can't pull it off the top of my head, but I could tell you.
But
they
they-
were very much. But okay, so they were going the Broncos, but then they went against the Steelers,
Okay.
so that had to be right in that area.
Did they win against the Steelers?
Well, they were at least facing them in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Somewhere around then. So think of the time like, okay, you got the Steelers and the Steel Curtain, right, during that period.
So they're on the
Which-
scene at that point.
Yeah, they're totally on the scene.
Okay, here we go. Scott is 7. Dear Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, that's how it went.
First of all, I'm in love with
You
you.
gonna know a little bit more?
I think so. I think so. So I can end up writing
Tell this story.
Jeez, I might have to tell Jan this.
Back to the beginning. Dear Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's me again, Scott.
Yeah.
Me again.
I think about you all the time. Your rise to greatness has been meteoric, to say the least. Everything from the star on your helmet to the stripe on your pants infatuates me. You are
It's
America's
a little
team,
creepy.
and you're the team of my heart. Keep winning. Keep taking the gridiron. XOXO, Scott. Yes. Please send tickets.
Heart, Scott.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was that eloquent. So here's the best part. So as a school project, we wrote to them, and then they responded.
That's as a 7-year-old.
Right.
That's freaking cool.
So that's what won me over.
Because it's like, if I write a letter to my heartthrob, Brad Pitt,
He's not running back.
Yeah.
he's not writing back.
He-
But if he did,
He's probably filing a restraining order.
Let's imagine Brad Pitt's response back to Dan.
Yeah.
Dear Dan,
Dear Dan,
Right.
after repeated requests for a response, I'm finally responding. I'm glad you feel so highly about me. However, I cannot return the same love that you feel for me. Please stop contacting me.
no, I will not make out with you.
Heart, Brad.
Yeah. Yes.
But seriously, as a 7-year-old,
Yeah.
hering
What
back
did
from
they
this
say back to
organization,
you?
Yeah.
yeah,
so,
what did they say?
So they sent a bunch of swag.
No way.
So they signed an autographed picture of the team.
Like all the dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like the yearly team photo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
Correct. Sorry. Yes, Johnny. So they sent that, and then and a handful of other swag. I don't mean like a jersey, not quite that generous, but
I mean, the photos.
the
Google on its
photo
own.
Yeah.
and several other items, and that did it. That sealed the deal.
Yeah,
They
I get
were-
it. As a 7-year-old,
Yeah.
because that's about when I started watching
That'd be like
football.
if you wrote to the president as a 7-year-old, and you got a letter
It's
back.
huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I at some point, either it was Broncos or Nuggets, the website says you can send in stuff, requests for autographs, but don't expect it to come back.
Yeah.
It would have never happened now.
Right.
Yes. Now
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly
You
right.
wonder who received your mail and then who put the photo together and everything. Obviously, it took some effort, but someone.
They probably have a communications or PR.
It's cool how stuff
Yeah.
happened
Yeah.
like that back in the 40s.
Yeah.
70s. And
40s. I'm
I
like,
mean,
what?
stuff got done then. You know, World War II's over, people are in a better mood,
jeez.
and
Yes, it's more than over, Max.
yeah, we won.
You
We're
know,
done.
I'm imagining it was some secretary that
Yeah.
had probably an ashtray on their desk,
Yeah,
and they're sitting there chain smoking
Right.
cigarettes, and they're
Probably
reading
were.
all the mail,
yeah, it's
and
not,
they get this letter from Rochester, New York,
yeah.
from Scott Cody, and they're like, God damn it,
This
give me
guy-
another pack of Winston's.
He's writing the R backwards in red crayon in the letter, and she says, "I gotta hook it up for this dude."
Right.
Yeah.
She's probably ripped through 7 or 8 darts by 9 a.m.
Max. World War II.
Yeah.
Do you have the photos still?
No, I don't have any of it.
Oh, that's a
No.
bummer.
But that's a long time.
But I have to give you credit because I feel like, and I've known you for a long time.
You
now.
have
I mean,
known me.
25 or 26 years.
Yeah.
We've known and worked with each other.
Yep.
And I've known, obviously, all these years that you're a Cowboys fan, but I never really knew the depth of the story. Here's what I assumed,
Mm-hmm.
and don't punch me in the face, but I had assumed that those Super Bowl years that the Bills lost to the Cowboys were what tipped it for you. And you're
No.
like, I'm sick of my team losing to this team, and I'm just, drop the zero and get with the hero kind of a thing. I'm gonna start cheering for the Cowboys because they seem to win. My team seems to lose.
Right.
Which I have a little bit of a disrespect for that.
Sure.
Because as a grade schooler here in Denver, we went to a lot of Super Bowls and got our asses kicked.
Right.
I mean, I remember them to this day losing to the Giants and losing to the Redskins and losing
Right.
the 49ers was a particularly bad beatdown.
Yeah.
And I remember classmates that previously were Broncos fans were suddenly like, oh, the Broncos suck. I like the Raiders. Or I like, they'd jump on the bandwagon of other teams. And I was like, I was diehard Broncos, and I stayed diehard Broncos through the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And so that's what I had assumed is that you were one of those kids that jumped on the bandwagon of the Cowboys because your team lost, but that's not the case.
No, I mean, if you wanted to say that in the 80s because they were America's team and were winning during that period.
Yeah.
But it was far before.
Far before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you were rooted in and that's just cool. That's a cool story to me because as a
That's
7-year-old,
definitely-
hearing back from the team is big. Like,
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
that
that
would be big.
I can imagine
That's
getting the mailing from them and realizing you've got to be kidding me.
You've got
Yeah.
mail.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I can imagine coming home from school and you see like mom's there. She's like, "You got a letter from the Cowboys?"
Yeah. That was
That'd
pretty
be huge.
It was pretty fantastic.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. That's awesome. So, changing directions. This episode is about meeting the hosts.
Yeah.
Max, tell us about yourself. You grew up in Cortez, Colorado.
In Cortez, Colorado, southwestern Colorado. People ask all the time, are you a Colorado native? And I can say, yeah, I am. But I think when they ask that, they usually ask, are you a Denver area native?
Right.
And being from Colorado, not at all. It takes 8+ hours to get there from
Yeah.
here. It is the most southwestern point you can be in the state without getting to the Four Corners. So
How far is it
Yeah.
from New Mexico?
You can
Like
be-
30 minutes? 20?
Yeah, 20 minutes. You can be at the Four Corners in probably 45 minutes. You can be in New Mexico in under half an hour.
Oh,
So Four Corners is Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yes.
And it really felt more like northern New Mexico than it did Colorado.
Yeah. Culturally, very different, obviously, than the metro area.
Much different. Everything
Yeah.
was small town. Even though I say it felt like northern New Mexico in a more arid desert environment, elevation is still really high. If you're in Colorado, if you're in Cortez and you've never been, you wouldn't imagine elevation 6,200 feet, so it's higher than Denver, even though it feels like you're in the middle of the desert.
Wow.
Interestingly, if you drive south from Colorado, you're in New Mexico, you really are in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
But if you drive north or west, then give it an hour and you're in the mountains.
Right.
You're in Telluride.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's right at the juncture between the two environments. Really amazing
Yeah.
place from a topography standpoint.
Now,
that's what I was
smaller
about to
than
say.
Rochester.
Very small. So Cortez is probably around, maybe not smaller than Rochester. It's 10,000. The surrounding county is probably more like 30,000.
Okay.
But it is definitely small town America, small high school feel.
Yeah.
There's one high school, there's one pool, there's one library. It's definitely not like being in the Denver area.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, growing up, you competed in sports, right?
Yeah, played tennis, ran track, did some basketball as well. It's pretty much all you can do there outside of drinking in some random field.
But when you're competing, I mean, you're competing against high schools of other small towns.
You are, and you're also competing against schools that are far away.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be uncommon to drive to Grand Junction and back, which one way is about 4 hours.
Whoa.
And of course, you go to state competitions, and that's in Denver. May as well be in another state.
Yeah.
So it's not like the Denver area where you may drive 30 minutes.
To play a game.
It
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
multiple hours.
Jeez,
That's
that
crazy.
sucks.
Yeah.
Which, depending on how the outcome of that match goes,
Right.
depends on how fun that
Could
ride
be a
is.
long
Yeah.
bus ride home. I will say one fun fact about our school district because of budgetary concerns. I don't remember if it was the last 2 years or last 1 year, but it was at least one. We did not have school on Fridays. True
Oh,
story.
really?
Yeah.
True.
Why is that? Because of budgetary?
The thought was
Okay.
you're saving on the bus routes.
Yeah.
1 day a week. That's helping a significant amount. So I believe it was only my senior year of high school. We only had 4 days school weeks.
Yeah.
The day ran a little longer, but there was no school on Fridays.
How big was your graduating class?
It was 150 or so.
Okay.
School was maybe 800. It had been getting smaller for the last 5 to 10 years before I was there. It was around 1,000, and it was probably more like 700 or 800
Okay.
when I was there.
Yeah, my graduating class was like 220, so we're a little bigger. I guess a third bigger.
Which I would say
Yeah.
it still qualifies as a medium-sized high school. It definitely wasn't tiny
Yeah.
by any means.
Right.
Yeah.
There were high schools near us where a graduating class would be 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was tiny.
Right. Yeah, that's not.
But
Yeah.
White's graduating class alone was 1,200
She went
cow.
to school in
Indianapolis?
in
Indianapolis.
the Indianapolis area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
1,200,
that, but it wasn't minuscule. It was definitely maybe on the smaller end of a nice medium
Yeah.
size. But kids would drive an hour away, one way for school.
What?
45 minutes to an hour who lived far enough away.
No way.
Now, growing up there, did you have a sense of like, I want to escape this when I can. I want to get out of this, or was
good question.
like,
Yeah, there are a lot of incredible things about my hometown.
yeah, of course.
And it does offer a lot in terms of outdoor activities. And Mesa Verde is right there, and the Four Corners
Yeah.
is right there. There are not
Right.
a lot of people, and those are huge draws for a lot of people. But yeah, it did feel very small, and I always looked forward to just being in a bigger, more established, and in my mind, a more on the map sort of place.
Yeah, yeah. But certainly you have any number of classmates that this is where they're going to live, and this is where they're going to be, and they're going to raise their families there, and probably their next generation will do the same. And I mean, it's probably not too dissimilar to Rochester.
No.
Even I mean,
It's like
it even
Little House
exists.
on the Prairie.
Even exists here in Denver. I mean, there's people that I went to school with that are still in the Columbine area, and
Yeah.
their kids know the kids of other classmates, and
Yeah.
they tend to just stick, you
Yeah,
know, in that
we-
spot.
Absolutely had that.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna ask, like, so was it for playing sports? Was it closer to playing New Mexico schools or
Yeah.
Utah schools?
Did you play a lot of New Mexico schools, or with Colorado with CHASA? Was it all restricted to Colorado?
Well, it was a little different for each sport.
Oh,
For
okay.
track, we would have plenty of different meets that were in New Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you would have meets where schools from Utah and from New Mexico would play against us or compete against us. And yeah, there'd be other games, but our conference was all Western Slope.
Okay.
So somewhat like college football, where you'll have your out-of-conference stuff at the beginning of the year. You'd see some Utah and New Mexico schools, but after that, once you then dial into the conference, everyone was in Colorado.
All right, I got a question for you on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
maybe you remember a little bit of this from the New England days.
Mm-hmm.
I have felt as a Denver, specifically Denver native, that people in Colorado Springs sometimes carry a little bit of a chip on their shoulder about Denver people, because like almost like the redheaded stepchild of Denver or something like that. Was there any of that between, you know, if you're from Cortez and you're in Colorado versus New Mexico, or no, not necessarily? Never really.
It's actually a really good question. I would say maybe not towards New Mexico, but it was always towards the next bigger town. So we had that feeling towards Durango.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because you've got Durango, which
And they
is
feel like they're all that.
yeah, and they're maybe a little bit more affluent, with Durango almost feeling like a mini Boulder, and they're right up the road. But then next to us, there would be Mancos and Dolores, who probably had that thought about Cortez, because they don't have grocery stores, right? They have to drive 10 or 12 miles just to go to the city market, which
City
is
market.
King Soopers.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did have that feel, I think, towards Durango a little bit. Maybe not across states, but fun fact, we didn't have Denver news. We watched Albuquerque.
Oh, you
Albuquerque
did?
news.
Really?
And it was actually closer for us to drive to Albuquerque, New Mexico, to fly long distances than it would have been to go to Denver, either by car or to fly to Denver.
Yeah.
And how far would Albuquerque be by car?
Albuquerque was around 4 hours.
Yeah, okay.
So probably somewhere in the 2 to 250 mile range.
Yeah.
But you can get to Albuquerque and back from Cortez in the time it takes to just drive to Denver.
Yeah, okay.
So routinely, as we would fly to Florida for spring break to see my grandparents,
Okay.
we would usually drive to Albuquerque and then fly directly from there,
Yeah.
rather than flying to Denver to connect and then fly
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
Florida.
Well, family makeup. You got
Yeah.
a younger sister?
Have 2 younger sisters.
Two.
They're twins.
Okay.
They
Oh.
are 4 years younger than
I
me.
didn't know. I didn't, or put that connection together. I didn't know they were twins.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just dominating. One of them is a physician.
Wow.
And the other one works at Adidas.
Oh, cool.
I was telling you that we saw the World Cup final
Yeah.
at Providence Park, which is the Portland Timbers stadium, and of course Adidas has such a big presence in
Huge.
Portland.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So just back on the school or back on the town or that area from an industry standpoint,
yeah.
what was like, I had mentioned Kodak and Xerox, Paychex. What was like major industry in that area?
Cortez is definitely a tourist town,
Yeah, that's what I was
because
wondering.
it's
Okay.
close to Mesa Verde, and of course Mesa Verde attracts people from all over the world.
Which is a national park, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
incredible if you
Yeah,
haven't been.
I have done.
But it's also very
It's incredible.
agricultural as well, and there are some pretty key businesses there as well. Osprey Packs,
Oh, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you see
Yeah.
their stuff all the time,
You
all
do.
over the world.
Yeah.
When Courtney and I were in Indonesia,
Yeah.
and everything is hiking and backpacking,
Right.
we saw that stuff
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it's a mix, but
Okay.
I would say
That's cool.
primarily a
Tourist.
tourist farm
Yeah.
town.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
And from there, like I said, wanted to go bigger, in my mind, better, more significant compared to the small agriculture tourist town. Went to CU
Yeah.
and then made the fairly predictable move from CU to Denver after that.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And at CU, what was it? So you went for business school, right?
Yeah.
And accounting.
Yeah. And that really only happened by way of process of elimination.
Okay.
I was in the
Yeah.
business
How did
school.
that come down?
The way it happened, you could apply to any number of the colleges that make up CU. I got into the business school, luckily, on day one. So I'm a business student as an incoming freshman. But from there, I really didn't know what I wanted to focus on. And I knew that I was a numbers person. So I would say that led me to either accounting or finance.
Mm-hmm.
And someone had said, look, you'll be able to make the transition from accounting to finance maybe easier than you could going from finance to
Right.
accounting. So I thought, you know
Yep.
what?
Let's
I still don't really know. I don't really know what either of these are yet as a freshman in college. But that makes sense to me. Let's do it. It turned out that our business school had a great 5-year accounting master's program.
Okay.
And I realized that that would be a way to have an extra year at CU, which sounded like a great idea.
But you love Boulder.
Yeah, and I was close with a number of students who were 3 to 4 years ahead of me, and a lot of them were in that accounting program.
Okay.
So I had their influence in going that direction as well. And you also needed 150 accounting hours to take the CPA exam. They were starting to make that transition. Generally, you're only getting 140 hours if you do 4 years. So
Okay.
you realize, okay, the only way we can even have enough credits to take this exam is if we do the 5-year master's. The whole thing ends up being pretty obvious in what you have to do.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And while you were there, like, did you participate in any sports or programs or clubs?
You know, I did some intramurals
Yeah.
here and there.
Like dodgeball or like.
Did some. you could do tennis, basketball.
He was in the club tag team.
Yeah.
There's a hide and go seek, campus wide. I won because I went 20 miles off campus and just in a ditch for 2 weeks. Outside of that, I also ran Ralphie at CU.
So for those people that aren't familiar with CU,
For those people, I would say
Who live under a rock.
Yeah.
those who are living in a ditch trying to win hide and go seek.
those people, yes.
CU's football team has a live American bison mascot that we run on the field to lead the football team out. And in my opinion, it is the greatest tradition in all of sports.
All of sports.
And-
collegiate sports or all of sports?
I'd say just all
I
athletics.
think I might say all of it.
Okay.
Okay, being a Colorado native
Yep, yep.
and watching the run-up of the program in the 80s and the Bill McCartney era, which was just such a cool time as a, growing up. The Buff coming on the field was like, that was the start of it all. And, watching, the rest of the team follow,
Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy and JJ Flanagan and the whole period of Sal and Essie in the stands. That was just such an epic run for the team, and being a Colorado native, being since I found out that you were a Ralphie runner, it's like almost like a prestigious, you did that.
Yeah, and of course, the tradition has gone on for decades. They're on the 7th Ralphie now.
Wow.
I ran Ralphie 5, which I would argue, and everyone who ran that one would argue, was definitely the best one.
Okay.
The way it happened, I had met a few people who were on the team, and they had said, yeah, you should try out. So I looked into it, and in years past, it looked as though in these videos online that if you tried out, you would get to do the tryouts, the sprinting trials, on Folsom Field. And I thought, you know what? if nothing else, it would be cool to at least be on the football field for a moment.
Heck yeah.
So is that like, is the tryouts like you've got to hit a certain 40-yard dash requirement, or?
They wanted to make sure you could run, wanted to see speed, but a lot of it was more interacting with the team.
Okay.
And you're really a representative of the athletic department in the school, so they wanted to see how you.
So you had to have some athletic ability. You couldn't be completely just
Yeah.
slow as molasses out there.
Klutz.
Yeah.
Yeah, klutz or whatever.
Yeah,
But it was also personality based too. And
sure.
Okay.
yeah.
And I remember trying out, and then they asked everybody to come to the spring game because generally tryouts were in the spring. Spring games always in March or April. And I was so sick the day of the spring game. I think I had the flu. And it's still so vivid. And I ended up getting called back for interviews. And
You must have
Yeah.
done enough.
it must have worked, and the whole thing worked out. And I'm still close with a lot of those
That's cool.
people today.
And your sister turned out to be
She
a
was,
Ralphie
yeah.
runner
That's
as well.
awesome.
Yeah, she went to CU, and
How far behind you?
So I was a fifth year when she was a freshman.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm 4 years older, and she was also on the team.
And the year? What were the years?
I was on the team during the 2012, 13, 14, and 15 seasons.
Wow.
So let me ask you. So are the runners like a fraternity of their own?
I would say
Yeah.
everyone's really close.
Yeah.
The friendships we made were unbreakable bonds.
Cool.
And like I said, I still am in touch with a lot of those guys even now.
That's awesome.
I think that's
Great.
super
Yeah.
cool
Very
to
cool.
be a part of something like that. I mean, that's rooted in tradition.
Yeah. I like
And
it.
like you said, I think it's definitely one of the top experiences in all of sports
Yeah.
to see
That
a,
definitely is big.
a full-grown buffalo run onto a field. I mean, it's just cool.
Yeah, and you really got a unique view of game day operations. Of course, any big college football or NFL game has a ton going on. There are tens of thousands, if not more, people in the stands, on the field. Stuff is happening, and timing has to be exact to the minute because the band goes on before kickoff, cheerleaders go on, and all the while, the countdown to kickoff is happening, and then the national anthem has to happen, and then after that,
All
we
planned
have to
out.
go.
Yeah. So there's a sequence or an order.
There's
Yeah.
a sequence, and because of that, there's a high level of stress because you're working with a wild animal.
Speaking of that, and maybe this can be the last question on this subject, but recent news, there was the guy in Wyoming that just got thrown in the
Yeah.
air. I'm sure you've seen the video of the guy in Yellowstone that got thrown in the air by the buffalo up there.
I have not seen
Oh,
it,
you haven't
Oh,
seen
really?
that?
Oh.
but it seems every year or so, someone finds a way to.
Yeah.
Yeah, now this guy, we've seen Yellowstone videos of people getting way too close to the wildlife and whatnot. He seemed, in my opinion, to be keeping a distance and minding his manners. But this buffalo was not having it.
No.
And they ran around this group of trees for a minute, and then, and
Yeah.
this guy had to be in his 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have ended. I think he did end up breaking both of his legs.
Yeah. I don't know.
Broken
the
bones
outcome.
for sure, but he could have died.
I've seen the video.
He could have died.
Yeah. I don't think he was doing. Certainly, he wasn't doing anything to antagonize
Right.
the animal. I'll just say that. Yeah, I guess in hindsight, he was too close.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have felt that comfortable being
Even
that
where he
distance.
was?
Yeah.
Even where he was.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Ralphie, as Buffalo Go,
Yeah.
is a smaller buffalo.
Yeah.
And
female, right?
Right.
So,
Okay.
which makes them smaller, right? I think this one was a male. The attack.
Yeah,
So
It was large.
huge.
Yeah.
some of the male buffalo can be gigantic.
Yeah.
This one was.
And you're looking at a 180-pound guy. Their head weighs as much as that.
Right.
Right.
So they are wild animals, and even if you are far away, when you're in their space, they'll let you know about it.
Yeah. This one did.
Yeah.
This one did. You'll have to check it out.
How large do you think Ralphie you ran?
Ralphie 5.
Yeah.
Ours was around 1,300 pounds.
And how fast?
Could run at 25 miles an hour or so, top speed.
Which, for reference, Usain Bolt runs how fast? Do you know?
13.
Am I putting you on the spot?
I'm not sure exactly, but obviously
13 miles per hour.
the buff is faster than we are.
No.
And it only works
Oh.
when all of us are working together and people are adding resistance. And as soon as one person falls off,
That's
whole
the
thing-
that's the point of the runners is you are adding resistance, holding Ralphie back from getting to top speed. Because if Ralphie gets to top speed, everybody's screwed, right?
yeah,
Everybody's in danger.
she's so fast, and level of endurance is way better than us as well.
Jeez.
But it was so unbelievably fun. There was nothing like being out there.
That's
on
so
game
cool.
days.
And were there any incidences?
You know, we practice to figure those things out, to fine tune it, but certainly at practice it wouldn't always go completely perfect.
Yeah.
And there would be times where you would realize, okay, this buffalo is way faster than we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we should transition to talk a little bit of my background.
Yeah.
Since that's the whole point of the episode. I'm going to go kind of quick. Born and raised here in Denver. I've got an older brother, 4 years older than me. I have a younger sister who's 5 years younger than me. And,
And growing up, were you in the city or suburb?
yeah, so we lived in Denver for the first kind of half of my upbringing, up until I was like in first grade or second grade.
Okay.
Hampton and University,
Mm-hmm.
the Denver Seminary used to be located right there. Now it's like a condominium complex, and there's a great big King Soopers right there. But the Denver Seminary used to be right there. So as kids, we would go. There was a great big huge lawn in front of the Denver Seminary, and we would go play football out there as kids. But then, in first grade, we moved to Littleton, kind of the Columbine area, and so grew up kind of in, for most of my upbringing was more in that Littleton, Columbine area, and also I would say in Grand Lake, up in the mountains.
Okay.
So we had a mountain home. We started building that in 1980.
Okay.
I would say it was more or less complete by around 84 or 85. And so we spent a lot of time on weekends up there, had a community up there, friends, and felt like family in the Grand Lake community, and then also in the Littleton area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, given that you're the only one of us that's from Denver originally,
Yeah.
what was it like when you were a kid? How much different is Denver now? How much has it changed? I know that people in jest refer to Denver as the quote-unquote cow town
Yeah.
compared
They definitely
to
do. Yeah.
the New Yorks and the San Franciscos. And of course, now Denver's a fairly established big city in the country. But even 30 years ago, I don't know if people looked at it that way. What did it feel like? What was the vibe? What was everything like? And what has it been like to see it grow so quickly.
I mean, it definitely felt like I lived in a metropolis. I felt like I lived in a big-ish city, but I had no reference point.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how it compared or stacked up to bigger places. Obviously, you've got New York, and you've got Houston, and other cities that are much, much bigger. I didn't know. I just had a sense that it was growing, I suppose. When you're young, you only pay attention to so much of that stuff. But when we moved out to the Littleton area, we lived like on the edge of the metro area. That's
Okay.
like right on the edge. And anything further south or west, you were like in the country, so to speak. There weren't developments and things like that beyond us to the south or the west from where we lived. But slowly but surely, Highlands Ranch came into existence. And it's like, oh, okay, well, now there's something more to the south.
Yeah.
And then, Roxborough Park, and that got developed. And so so at some point it became, well, no longer are we on the edge.
Mhm.
It's like, Columbine High School, which is where I was supposed to go to high school, was kind of that furthest out. And then you had Chatfield High School, and kind of grew out from there. But, yeah, I mean, seeing it grow and develop, you had a sense that that's what was happening around you, but you're still a kid, so you're not thinking too much about that stuff. But yeah.
And so you mentioned for high school, you didn't go to Columbine. So where'd you go to high school?
So I went to Mullen High School, which is a private Catholic high school, and that was a choice I made. My parents gave me their blessing and said, if that's what you want to do, you can. I made that choice, I think, predominantly because my uncle, who I always looked so much up to, my Uncle Mike, went to Mullen.
Okay.
He was there in the early 80s. It was an all-boys school when he was there. And then my older brother, Mike, went to school at Mullen, and he started there when it was all boys, but by the time he finished, they had gone co-ed as a school. And my older brother just was he was very influential on me and a lot of the decisions I made. He just as an older brother can do, put a lot of ideas in my mind about this is what you want to do, this is what you want. If you want to achieve this is what you do, and that kind of a thing. So he was very influential in my decision. It was not an easy decision, though. I mean, I look back on it and think about the relationships that I had developed through elementary, in the Columbine area once we moved out there, and then into middle school. I mean, I had really, really good friends that I more or less at the end of 8th grade said, sayonara, I'm out. And that was a decision. It's one thing if your parents say this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna go and move to this.
Yeah,
But when you make the choice, it's I think back on that a little bit. I don't know. Not that I don't have any regrets, because then I moved to Mullen and met a whole new community of people and new friends, and that was awesome. My high school years were great, and I don't think I would do it any differently.
Yeah.
But there'll always be a part of me that will wonder what would have been, and I just stayed with that friend group, and we had gone to Columbine together, and
Yeah.
we always have these forks in the road that we choose in life, and you choose, to go right or you go left. And, in this case, chose to go left, and
Sure.
you know where it was.
What was a young Daniel Grote like in high school? Interests? What did you do?
I was very much into sports.
Okay.
Sports I'd say, grew up a huge Broncos have always been the centerpiece for me, sports wise, and football. Therefore, same thing. I loved football. I played youth baseball, and really I liked baseball too, but it was always kind of second tier to football. High school was no different. I was very much into football. I had suffered an injury at the very beginning of my sophomore season. I dislocated my shoulder. Made the decision that I was going to go ahead and have surgery on that shoulder and miss the rest of that season. And then I ended up having the same issue on the other shoulder. Just a handful of months after recovering from this one, had the same issue on the other side. But yeah, I was very, very sports focused. And then if I wasn't sports focused, I was very girls focused. Very girls focused. And school was like, I always had done like enough school wise to, let's just say, not get my butt kicked at home. Like just clear the hurdle. So I was a B and C student. Every now and again I'd pull down an A, and that was a good job, but like kind of that in that realm. I knew that anything below a C was not acceptable. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
I know you weren't writing letters to the Cowboys, that's for sure.
Yeah, probably not. Being a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you get done with high school at Mullen, the new high school, in a new path outside of the traditional Columbine route.
Yeah.
And you decide to go the opposite direction from the big area to the small area for college.
Yeah.
And wind up in Durango at Fort Lewis.
Yeah.
Talk about getting there and what that shift was like, going from the bigger Denver area to the more rural Durango.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my classmates from Mullen were going on to bigger schools, to whether it be CU or CSU or even bigger, to schools out of state, Catholic or otherwise. And I didn't have quite the grades to go to some of those bigger schools. I also knew that from a financial standpoint, we didn't have a lot of wherewithal on that end. So Fort Lewis was a school that I looked at like, well, distance-wise, like I'm going to feel a bit like I'm going out of state because it's a good 7.5-hour drive from Denver to get down there, and it's in an area of the country it's a beautiful area of the country. There's a lot to do down there, and so I just embraced that and thought, this is maybe step one of college for me, but then again, maybe I'll end up transferring out of Fort Lewis. At that time, there was a relationship that they had with Colorado State, so I thought maybe I could make this a stepping stone to transferring up to Fort Collins and going to CSU.
Okay.
But that obviously never came to pass.
All right.
And so, academic-wise, what did you pursue, and what did you like at Fort Lewis or in college?
So, I think it was my senior year of high school. My dad set me up with a job working at a packaging store. It was the packaging store was the name of the company. It was over off of
Brilliant.
Federal and Bellevue, and the owner of the store, the franchisee of this franchisor or whatever of the store, they did like some high end kinds of things, like moving things. Like we would move like a baby grand piano worth $15,000 from someone's home to some other place. We did a lot of different cool things there, but working at the packaging store, he would always have 850 KOA playing on in the background and Rush Limbaugh. So I listened to, just in like my senior year of high school, listened to a lot of Rush Limbaugh just by virtue of working at the packaging store.
Mm-hmm.
And if you knew Rush Limbaugh, like he was a pretty cocky personality,
definitely.
very kind of full of himself. But I started to learn some different political ideas there and started to think about politics. So going into college, I thought, maybe politics is a route that I want to go. So I started off as a political science major.
I didn't know that.
But the politics of Rush Limbaugh and 850 KOA were certainly different than the politics of Fort Lewis College. Let me just tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And it was about after a semester of that major in my freshman year that I was like, don't think politics. And I also kind of realized too that there's going to be a lot of history involved here, and that wasn't always my strongest suit. And I just decided, you know what, I don't think this is going to be for me. So I think I went undeclared my second semester of freshman year. It's like I got to figure out some different path. And like at that point, at the end of that second semester, I was like, okay, you better figure something out or you're going to be in college for 8 years. So that was when I just decided I'm going to go business, because I figured, even though I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, business will be something that will be applicable to a lot of different things. It'll open a lot of different doors. I'll choose business, and that's the route I went. And then suddenly I got into my first handful of business courses. The subject matter just like illuminated my mind. For the first time in my life, I was excited about school. I was excited about class. I started making the dean's list and doing well because I just finally found something that was like, this is fascinating. I love this stuff. So yeah, that's what I ended up with.
And then, like, when you're not in class, on the social side of things, or in your free time, sports, clubs, what did Dan like to do?
Oh gosh, you know, there's not a ton of examples I could give there, but I had a classmate that I went to middle school with, and so we weren't together in high school. She went to Columbine, but we were in middle school together, and she was in like the theater or maybe the journalism, and she turned out to she was on the HLN network for a while as a journalist on there. But anyway, in my senior year at Fort Lewis, she was doing a production that was a silent movie. Going back to the olden days, it was a silent movie,
Like Charlie Chaplin.
yeah, like Charlie Chaplin, called A Trunk Full of Underwear.
Oh.
And I was like the main actor in her production.
So
Trunk Full of Underwear.
So were you in the trunk, or?
I can't even.
Is this thing on YouTube?
I can't even totally recall what Trunk Full of Underwear was all about. I do remember this at one point in the production. We had like my arm got set on fire. I was at a restaurant on a date, and somehow like I got my hand too close to the candle, and my arm goes on fire. And so we did that, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do and be a part of. Not like in any way related to what I was studying, but still a lot of fun to be a part of. So
that's usually the most enjoyable stuff.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah.
And with sports, being Broncos fan, you a Rockies fan, Nuggets fan?
Yeah. I mean, just growing up in Denver, just adopted all the Colorado sports teams.
Okay.
So definitely Broncos number one. I think after that I would say Avalanche, because they were the first to bring an actual championship to the Denver area.
Yeah.
You know, even before the Broncos did.
Right.
And then after that, then probably fell the Nuggets, and then with the Rockies. You know, the Rockies have had their ups and downs for sure. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Awesome. Man.
Well, guys, I mean, we've been sitting here talking now. I think we've passed the hour time on our talk, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because I was stressing that we wouldn't even get to an hour, and there would be a lot of ums in here. Like the counter would be going.
There's still plenty
of ums.
There could be.
But I think we probably wrap at this point for this episode, which was all about meeting the crew.
Yeah.
And,
cool. Fun.
A lot of fun.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate you guys sharing so much.
Yeah.
It's cool that we get to learn this much about one another that I didn't feel like I knew going into this.
I didn't know Max's sisters were twins.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going into college for poli-sci.
Yeah.
That was news to me.
I didn't know that Scott wrote love letters to the Cowboys. Sub age 10.
It was not a love letter.
Right.
Definitely not. Max.
Well, listen, that's episode 1, and I want to appreciate everybody that takes any time out of their day to watch this or pay attention to this. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, tell a friend, come back next week. Next week, we're going to talk about the NFL and what we think might happen in the season to come.
Cool. Very cool.
Until then, go
Looking
enjoy a
forward.
sandwich.